I never imagined my daughter's 10th birthday party would end with someone being led away in handcuffs. But that's exactly how things unfolded last Saturday at Lakeview Park. What began as a perfect celebration spiraled into chaos. The moment the most notorious HOA president in the neighborhood decided that the picnic table we had reserved was suddenly the one she wanted for her lunch. I had arrived at the park around 8 o'clock that morning, reservation permit in hand. The lakeside spot was ideal, shaded by tall oak trees and offering an uninterrupted view of the water. My wife and I spent almost an hour setting everything up. We taped bright balloons to the posts, hung a large "Happy 10th Birthday" Emma banner across the front, and made sure our reservation permit was clearly displayed, showing our name and the time slot, Donovan family, 11 o'clock a.m. to 3 o'clock p.m. Everything looked perfect for Emma's big day. By 11:30, the party was in full swing. About 15 kids were running around playing lawn games while parents gathered around the food table we'd arranged. Emma glowed with excitement as she showed her friends her brand new science kit. That's when I saw her Karen Winters strutting across the park toward our setup. Designer sunglasses perched on her nose even though the sky was cloudy, clipboard clutched to her chest, and that familiar expression of disapproval she was infamous for in Oakwood Estates. "Excuse me," she announced loudly, interrupting several conversations at once. "I need everyone's attention." She tapped her manicured nails against her clipboard as if she were conducting an inspection. I stepped forward, determined to keep things civil. "Hi, Karen, is there something you need?" She looked at me like I was something unpleasant stuck to her shoe. "Actually, there's been a revision to the park seating assignments," she declared, her voice dripping with fake authority. "This particular table has been reassigned. You'll need to move your party to the tables closer to the playground." I blinked in confusion. "Reassigned? By who? We have a reservation permit right here." I gestured to the permit taped to the table. Karen reached over, plucked the permit right off the table, and inspected it with exaggerated scrutiny. "This isn't valid for this specific table. The HOA has implemented new guidelines for lakefront seating. Perhaps you didn't receive the email update." My wife came over, concern written all over her face. "What's going on?" There's some confusion about our reservation," I explained, doing my best to stay calm while noticing Emma watching from a distance, anxiety creeping across her face. Karen exhaled dramatically. "There's no confusion. The rules have changed, and this table has the premium view of the lake, which is now reserved for senior HOA members during peak hours." She gestured toward another woman approaching with takeout bags, her friend Debbie, recognizable from the neighborhood. "We'll be having our lunch meeting here to discuss community improvements." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "Karen, this is a public park. The HOA doesn't run the reservation system. We booked this through the city parks department weeks ago for our daughter's birthday." She had already begun removing our decorations, placing them on the ground without a second thought. "Well, someone should have informed you of the changes. The HOA oversees all community spaces in and around Oakwood Estates." She sat herself at the head of the table like she owned it and started unpacking her lunch. This was unbelievable. Parents nearby were now paying close attention to the growing confrontation. I pulled out my phone and showed Karen the confirmation email from the city. "Look, this is an official reservation. There are 15 kids here. Surely you can hold your meeting somewhere else. There are plenty of empty tables right over there." I pointed toward several unoccupied spots. Karen took a sip of her latte and dismissed me with a wave of her hand. "Those don't have the proper view. This location is better suited for our meeting. Your reservation is simply unenforceable under the new guidelines." Then she turned to Debbie. "The chicken salad from Caf Lauren is divine. You must try it." I was speechless. More parents had gathered by now, and Emma tugged on my sleeve, her eyes filling with tears. "Dad, is the mean lady taking our party away?" she whispered. Before I could respond, Karen scoffed loudly. "Oh, please don't get emotional over a table. There's no need to upset the children with such dramatics. Just move to another spot and let them enjoy their little party." That was the moment something inside me snapped. Emma burst into tears, and seeing my daughter cry on her birthday lit a fire in me. At least 3 parents had their phones out, recording everything. My friend Mike, whose daughter was Emma's best friend, stepped forward. "I'm calling the police," he said firmly. "This is ridiculous." Karen rolled her eyes so dramatically that it was almost theatrical. "Call whoever you want. The HOA has jurisdiction here, not the city police," she declared, taking another bite of her sandwich as if she were savoring the power she believed she had. While Mike made the call, I gathered the kids and tried to salvage the party by starting a game of tag away from the table. My wife stayed with Emma, gently reassuring her that everything would be okay. About 20 minutes later, 2 police officers arrived, and to my surprise, Karen's entire demeanor shifted in an instant. She leapt to her feet, wearing a bright, welcoming smile, as though she'd invited them herself. "Officers, thank you for coming," she said sweetly. "I'm Karen Winters, president of the Oakwood Estates HOA. I can explain this misunderstanding." The taller officer, Martinez, nodded politely. "We received a call about a dispute over a reserved park table. May I see identification from both parties, please?" I handed over my driver's license and the reservation permit. Karen hesitated, just for a moment, before digging into her purse and producing her ID. "So, what exactly is happening here today?" Officer Martinez asked. I explained everything: how we reserved the table weeks earlier for my daughter's birthday, arrived early to set up, and were in the middle of the celebration when Karen showed up, claiming the table had been reassigned by the HOA. Karen cut in before I could finish. "The HOA recently implemented new guidelines for premium seating locations in community areas. We sent out notices." Officer Martinez raised a hand, stopping her. "Ma'am, this is a city park, not HOA property. The city's reservation system is the only authority here." He examined our permit. "This reservation is properly filed and paid for. It grants the Donovan family exclusive use of this table during the listed hours." Karen's confident smile wavered slightly. "Well, perhaps there's been some jurisdictional confusion. The HOA board voted last month to extend our oversight to all community spaces used by Oakwood residents." She reached into her clipboard. "I have the minutes from that meeting right here." The second officer, Ramirez, stepped forward. "Miss Winters, HOA jurisdiction ends at the boundary of your development. City parks are public property under the Parks and Recreation Department." One of the parents who had been recording the entire incident approached with her phone. "I have video of her taking down their decorations and making the birthday girl cry," she offered. Officer Martinez nodded. "We'd like to see that." As the officers watched the footage, Karen's polished composure began to crumble. "I didn't see any decorations," she insisted quickly. "The table appeared unoccupied when I arrived." "It's first come, first served." Another parent stepped forward. "That's not true." We all watched her remove the birthday banner and balloons. Officer Ramirez turned to Karen. "Miss Winters, interfering with the lawful park reservation is considered theft of services. And based on this video, we're also looking at potential harassment and causing a public disturbance." All the color drained from Karen's face. "This is absurd. I'm the HOA president. I was only enforcing our community guidelines." Officer Martinez remained calm. "Do you have any official documentation from the city granting the HOA power over park reservations?" Karen shuffled through her clipboard. "Well, not with me, but because no such document exists," Officer Ramirez said firmly. "This appears to be a straightforward case of you asserting authority you don't have, and disrupting a child's birthday party in the process." By now, every parent had gathered around. Karen clearly realized she was losing control. Her friend Debbie had silently vanished the moment the officers started asking questions. "This is all a misunderstanding," Karen insisted, her voice rising high with panic. "I was simply trying to maintain order in our community spaces." Officer Martinez sighed quietly. "Miss Winters, please gather your belongings. You are being placed under arrest for theft of services, harassment, and disturbing the peace." A collective gasp rippled through the crowd as Officer Ramirez pulled out her handcuffs. Karen's eyes went wide. "You can't be serious. Do you know who I am? This is outrageous." She sputtered as Officer Ramirez read her rights. "I'll sue the city." The entire HOA will hear about this disgrace." Even as they escorted her to the police cruiser, she continued shouting, face flushed with shock and fury. Once she was secured in the back seat, Officer Martinez returned to us. "I'm sorry your celebration was disrupted," he told Emma gently, who stared up at him wide-eyed. "You're all free to continue your party. Your reservation is fully valid." We thanked the officers, and as they drove away with Karen still fuming behind the glass, the other parents helped us put everything back in place. Someone had rescued the birthday banner, and we rehung it proudly. Slowly, Emma's smile returned as her friends surrounded her, buzzing with excitement over everything that had happened. The next morning, I got a call from the district attorney's office. They informed me that Karen was being charged with criminal trespass, harassment, and disorderly conduct. Because she falsely presented herself as having official authority, they were taking the situation especially seriously. She was facing up to 90 days in jail and fines totaling $3,000. 2 days later, the story hit the local news. The video had gone viral, and reporters uncovered that Karen had been fabricating HOA authority for years. The Oakwood Estates Board held an emergency meeting and unanimously voted to remove her as president. They issued a public statement distancing themselves from her behavior and clarifying that they had never authorized her to enforce anything outside the neighborhood. When the judge announced her sentence, 60 days in jail suspended, 1 year of probation, a $1,000 fine, and 200 hours of community service, specifically at city parks, Karen's carefully constructed facade finally shattered. She broke down in tears, wailing that her reputation was ruined and that she had only been trying to preserve community standards. The judge wasn't swayed. He added that she was also barred from serving on any HOA board for 5 years.